All right, Tribulation Day 10. Do you have your tribulation on? The world continues in its crazy escalation of events. You know, I've been talking about it for the last several blogs, but here in San Jose, once again, it is cold and miserable, which for May 25th is highly unusual. You know, I've been living in San Jose since '72, and there's just something ominous about the skies over San Jose right now. For the last couple days, it's this cold Arctic wind that blows in, these eerie clouds that are just moisture-laden, heading straight over San Jose to the Midwest. And, you know, the scientists are saying it's the warm air blowing up through the Gulf of Mexico, meeting with the cold air coming across from California through San Jose. It's creating these catastrophic tornadoes and twisters that are just wiping out stuff. So the bad news is, if that is what's happening, then it's going to continue happening, because the weather here is continuing to be abnormally weird. You know, my heart goes out to all the people in the Midwest. You know, it's just incredible what we're seeing. But once again, you know, that's a little bit of what the tribulation is reassessing what you value in life. And you know what, if you're alive, value that. You know, years and years of us just focusing on how much stuff we can buy. You know what, when it's all scattered all over, it doesn't mean a thing. So anyway, you know, I'm going to try and make today's blog a little shorter, but weather continues to be abnormal. You know, Fukushima, the nuclear reactor over there, continues to leak radiation. You don't hear nothing about it in the news hardly, but you know it's doing damage. You know, they said they weren't going to get that fixed for months. You know, our President Obama gave a speech today. You know, I don't know what to say about that guy. You know, his speeches are just these long, rambling things filled with platitudes, and you know, it seems like he tries to make people feel good, but he can't even do that, because he always kind of adds in the "but," you know, Americans are nice, but not all the time, or the English were great, but not all the time, you know. And, you know, just kind of takes the wind out of his sails and the edge off of whatever he's saying, because people don't want to hear about how they screwed up. And most of us, like me, you know, I had nothing to do with slavery. I've never owned a slave, so, you know, I don't need any guilt cast my way just because I'm white. But, you know, it just seems like, you know, our president goes around in circles. He never gets specific. He leaves big, huge, gaping holes in what he says. You know, like even today, he went through the history of everything, like, you know, backwards and forwards, and yet he just jumps over the Iraq war. He treats it as this, like, dark stain, and yet, you know, whether you agree with what George Bush did or didn't do, what he did in Iraq is kind of setting the stage for everything that's going on there now. Obama wouldn't be able to do anything. He wouldn't have been able to capture Osama or anything if George Bush hadn't have done what he did. And I'm not saying I agree with everything George Bush did, but I'm just saying, you know, when we look back at this in the battle of good versus evil, we'll appreciate what George Bush did. Anyway, you know, my gardeners are outside and they're starting to chop some trees, so I'm going to cut this video blog short today. You know, once again, you know, try and prepare, try and have some extra food, try and have extra water in your house, and try and just think positive and do something good for the world. But, you know, our president heads to the G8 summit, and who knows what the hell's coming out of that. You know, to me, the Israeli peace process is a complete mess. And, you know, despite what Obama says, I think the world is gradually ratcheting up the pressure and is going to, you know, put Israel in a really bad spot. You know, the latest news story was that Egypt opened up the passage to the Gaza Strip, which means weapons and all sorts of stuff can start getting smuggled in, which isn't going to be good news. But it just seems like, when I look at the developments of the Mideast, it's slowly getting worse. But maybe we're wrong. Anyway, the tribulation continues. Tomorrow's another day, and rock on.